All right, I found this little video on YouTube that I am going to use. And you're more than welcome to use the same one, so your screen will look like my screen. But I went to YouTube and did a search for Edpuzzle, and I found this video that was 1 minute long. And so for our example, I'm just going to use a real short video. And so I clicked on it and went to the video, and I'm going to copy this link. And then back in my Edpuzzle account, I don't want that one. Sorry, back in my Edpuzzle account, I'm going to click where it says YouTube underneath popular channels and then paste my video there. All right, my picture is going to get in the way here. All right, so here's what we're looking at. We're looking at a place where we can edit this video a little bit, and I can move this little bar.
To create amazing video.
God, that's loud. I'm going to mute this so it doesn't get too loud. So I can move this little slider bar, and I can cut, and I can move it again, and I can cut, and then I can get rid of this. And as I drag it, notice the trash can shows up and it'll get rid of that middle part. I don't want to spend too much time on that because more than likely we're going to use our whole video anyway, but there's ability to cut stuff in and out. You can get rid of some of the intro. You can trim off the end to get rid of some of the end of the video. I mean, you can do a little bit of editing, but that's not really the focus of what we're going to do here. So that's the cut. The next is voiceover. And it looks like we cannot do voiceover on YouTube videos. So we should have done a video from our Google Drive. But anyway, it just allows you to talk over certain parts of the video. So, but really, I think the main thing that we're interested in is this questions part. And so let's work on that part. So to add a question, first we have to find the place where our question is going to go. And so you may know your video really well. And so you know exactly where you want it to stop. But I'm having to watch my video here, and I don't have any sound, so I may need to unmute it. Let's just turn it down. Hopefully it's not blasting you out on your end.
YouTube, National Geographic, TED Talks.
Oh, and you may not even hear it because I didn't enable the sound. So
Khan Academy and more.
So once we find a place where we want the video to stop, and then we can insert one of these three choices. We could do a multiple choice question, and notice it says it would be graded automatically, and the students get feedback immediately, whether they have it right or wrong. Open-ended says, basically it says you have to grade it yourself. Edpuzzle is not going to grade it for you. And so again, I wouldn't use this one because remember, we're trying to save us time and trying to get easy grade or easy accountability. So I would avoid using this one for right now, but maybe later on. But right now, I would stay away from this one. The note is a pretty good because you could prompt the kids to say, hey, make sure you write this in your journal. Here's when you work the problem, something like that. And so it forces the video to stop for them to do what they need to do. But we're going to start with multiple choice question on here. And so we would choose multiple choice, type in our question. Let's think of a better question. What kind of videos can be used with Ed? And this probably is not a great example because there's a lot of choices. I probably need a not in there. And not be used with Edpuzzle. So what kind of videos can not be used with Edpuzzle? And then after we have our question put in, then we can start putting in answer choices. And it brings up only 2 to begin with, but then there's a choice down here to add more answer choices. And so I can type in one of the answer choices, and it doesn't have to be the correct one because I can toggle back and forth which one is correct. So the green check means correct, the red means incorrect, and that's how it'll grade. And so let's see, I don't think there was a Vimeo Oh, well, I know what it can do. It can do YouTube. So that one's going to be incorrect. And EIMEO. Where I'm going to do one. I think TED Talks is on there. So that was so I'm going to add another answer choice, and I'm going to say Netflix, and that's going to be our correct one because that one cannot be used with Edpuzzle. And I'm going to add a fourth answer choice of Crash Course. And then that one would be incorrect because you can use Crash Course videos from there. So you could provide some more feedback in here, but remember we're trying to save time, and so I wouldn't even mess with that. But yeah, I would prompt when the kids pick the right answer, it would tell them why, but you have to type that in there if you wanted to do that. All right, so we have multiple choice, we have our question, and we have our correct answer. Now there could be multiple correct answers, so you could say, you know, which of the following could be used, and you would have multiple correct answers, and the students would have to pick both in order to get that right. And you might tell them in the question, you know, if you're using multiple correct answers, you know, it says pick two or pick all that apply. So, you know, maybe prompt the kids that it's going to be more than one answer choice. So once we have our question and all our answer choices, we're going to click save. And then the video, here's kind of an example of what it looks like. And then so the students would have to pick the answer choice and then click continue. So here we go. Let's
You
move
can
on.
also
Let's add another
reuse
question.
ready-to-go video lessons made by other teachers or upload your very own teaching video. Then use Edpuzzle's video editor to create your perfect lesson.
So, you know, this is kind of a good time because you're kind of watching the video to see where to put the questions or where you want to put the questions in. And maybe you realized, ooh, I made a mistake right there. So here's where you could put a note and say, I made a mistake here. I should have said this, something like that. That's an idea that you could use for the note. You could also say, sure to write this in your journal, something like that. Time to work the problem. So you say, I mean, comment is just, boom, it's just going to stop the video and then prompt the kids with this comment. Notice there, in this box, though, there's a button for a link. So, I mean, you could get a little crazy here and have the kids go to something else that you created to get that answer, or maybe that, you know, you link it to your notes that you have in Google somewhere, or it's on a website, and then they can come back. So you could hyperlink something. So you have to select your text and then push the link and then paste that in there. Let's see if I have anything to paste. Paste the video. And so that's how the hyperlink would work. But again, I mean, we're trying to keep things nice and simple. So I have my comment in here, and then I click save. And so again, this is what it kind of looks like on the student end. It would prompt them, the video would stop, and then they could do what you're supposed to do and then click continue. It could also
Embed
be
your own questions to.
I mean, it could easily be a question of what's the answer to the problem, and you provide them their, you know, choices for an answer. Then they select it and move on, and then you could, the rest, you know, after that part could be you solving the problem and showing them, and they can check their steps. So some ideas like that. All right, so we're gonna keep on moving.
Check your student.
Now you don't have to watch the video. You can move the little dot to where you want it to go. And then let's do another multiple choice question. And I don't even know what this video was about, but maybe how do you get the video to your students? And then you would put your answer choices here. I need to add another answer choice. I'm looking on my screen right here, duplicate. add another answer choice. All right, so I have my question. I have my answer choice. I know which one's correct. And I have my incorrect ones, and I misspelled that. And then we're going to click save. And so this is what it would look like when the video stops and it shows up on the student's screen. If you realize you messed up, you can click on the pencil and edit that question and fix your mistake or make the correction. Then click
Prevent
continue.
skipping to make sure your students don't miss a thing. When you want to check in on your students' progress, use Edpuzzle's hassle-free analytics to get all the information.
So again, I mean, pretty easy. You just find out where you want the video to stop, do a question, and remember we don't want to do these open-ended ones yet because then you have to go back into Edpuzzle and grade it yourself. Note is a good place to give them a reminder of, write this down. Here's some extra information. So that's kind of what that's for. I'm just going to go right here. So these little teardrops down here show me where the questions or notes or wherever the video is going to stop and prompt the students for something. So from here, we're going to click on the word finish because I'm done. There's my finished product. And then we're going to talk about how to assign it to our kids in Google Classroom. So that'll be the next step.